Welcome everybody. My name is Shwadi and this is my Frost Lightning Hunter build. As far as the gameplay loop is concerned, you can basically go wild with it. There's going to be a lot of ability spam, so pretty much as long as you're using your abilities, you definitely don't want to let them go to waste. You want to pop your dodge every now and then because you're going to get that life shift for your weapons. And then just don't forget that you have your melee there. Like I forget all the time because I'm popping light shift left and right. I keep forgetting that I actually have my melee charged because of that. So it's always best to, before you use light shift, to use your melee Tempest Strike first, then pop your light shift so you can use another Tempest Strike and then just go off with your weapons. Your grenade's gonna come back quickly, you're gonna have a bunch of elemental pickups, you're gonna have frost armor, you're gonna be amplified a lot, there's gonna be a lot of survivability and a lot of ability spam, like I said. It'll be a lot of fun. The exotic armor that we're using for this build is of course the Mask of Bakris, which is luckily a featured exotic this season. So we got light shift, and that's whether you're using a stasis or an arc super. So back then it just had to be a stasis super, now you can even have it with arc, which is perfect. Using your dodge will actually make your stasis and arc weapons gain stacking damage bonus for a short time, and that can stack up to 3 times. The mods we're using for this helmet, I got Dynamo, reducing my super cooldown when using my class ability near targets, since that's basically always going to happen. I have a Harmonic Siphon, and I have a Stasis Siphon because I'm also going to be using stasis weapons a lot. For my gauntlets, melee font, grenade font, and I just put on a fastball just because I only had 1 energy left, so I figured I'd just put it there. You don't necessarily have to do that though. But melee font and grenade fonts are great, so every time you have an armor charge, you'll basically get a bonus to your grenade ability and your melee ability. Depending on what numbers you have your melee and your grenade at, you could either be doing extra damage with them, or you could just at least be getting them back faster, because you'll have more energy gain from kills and things like that. For my chest armor, I have like basically the usual, which is a concussive dampener to reduce the area of effect damage from combatants, and then I just have some resistance mods. It's really up to you how you like to play it. I usually just go with resistance things. If they have something like arc dealing more damage to me, then I'll put on arc resistance. It just depends on the activity that I'm playing. For my boots, I have Absolution, so I can reduce all ability cooldowns each time I pick up an orb of power. That'll be happening a lot. I have a weapons font, that way I can actually gain more weapons stat every time I have armor charge, which is also going to be great. My weapons will be dealing more damage a lot because of that. And I have recuperation. I know it got nerfed a little bit, but I still feel like it's helpful, especially since I'll be picking up orbs a lot. Replenishing health just really helps out with the whole survivability of the build. On my class armor, I have Powerful Attraction, which of course will help out with getting all the orbs, so every time I pop my light shift, I'll be getting all the orbs around me that I've been making left and right. I got a Reaper class, so every time I'm using my class ability, which of course this build basically revolves around, shortly after, my next weapon Final Blow will spawn another orb of power. And then I have Outreach, so I can reduce my melee cooldown whenever I use my class ability. This is my stat distribution. It doesn't necessarily have to be like this, but I would recommend a lot going into your class stat and then your weapon stat. Your class stat, you of course want it because you want to have your dodge back as soon as possible all the time. So that can really work with the Mask of Bakris. That's like the backbone of this build, is your dodge. And then after that, like I said, I think weapons should be the next priority, just because you want to deal even more damage with your weapons. Because they're already getting buffed by your Mask of Bakris, you want even more damage on top of that with your weapon stat. Secondary to all that, I would recommend your grenade and your melee. Your grenade more so just because it's not going to be coming back as fast as your melee. Your melee, you're going to be getting it back quickly because you have things like Gambler's Dodge, this Outreach. So you're going to be getting your melee back pretty much every time you dodge, and you're going to be getting your dodge back all the time too. So those two will pretty much be going hand in hand all the time. Your grenade, you might not have it as often because of that. So it'd be better to just pop something like a little bit more grenade stat, just to get your grenade back a little faster as well, help out with that. I don't have the highest numbers just because I'm still rolling with like some tier 2s and things like that. My power level isn't too high. The grind has been real, but once I get higher, all these numbers will go up as well, and then this build will just get even better. The whole gear set doesn't really matter, honestly, like at all. I just have the Bushido, the 2-piece, and then I have the Ion 2-piece. The Bushido one is the one that I guess would help out a little bit more, just because sometimes final blows with freshly drawn or reloaded weapons will heal you, and it's a very small amount of health that you're getting from it, but it's still something, so I figured I'd just put it on anyway. For weapons, the main one that it also revolves around is the Graviton Spike. I don't even have any of the catalysts, but if you do, that just makes the build even better. But this is pretty much how I have it. I do have the intrinsics at least, so it is a little bit better than the base Graviton Spike you'll be getting if you don't kit it out at all. But even just the base Graviton Spike, like as soon as you get the Graviton Spike, you can just run this build. And again, you don't even necessarily need the Graviton Spike, it's just what I like using because it's perfect with the Mask of Bakris. As far as the other weapons go, it really doesn't matter, it's also up to you as well, but I typically like using a stasis weapon, and either a stasis or an arc weapon for my heavy weapon. Just because my weapons in general are going to be getting buffed by Mask of Bakris, so it's better to use something that's either stasis or arc. I currently have a Lionfish with Chill Clip and Rhyme Stealer that has been really nice. And then for my heavy, I have this Boom Slang that dropped for me that has Rapid Hit and Precision Instrument. That's also been nice. Now going on to the actual subclass itself. Super is completely up to you. I personally love the Gathering Storm. I like to just pop it and then just go about my day. You know, just start killing things, popping my abilities left and right again. It deals a lot of damage too, so it's a great super in general in my opinion. Free abilities, Gambler's Dodge is definitely the one that you want to go with so you can get your melee back pretty much every time you dodge. So you'll always pretty much have a dodge and you'll always have your melee back. It's great. There's a lot of synergy with that. Your melee doesn't really matter because when we talk about the aspects, you're going to be using Tempest Strike anyway. Grenade is also completely up to you. I just always like the Pulse Grenade, so I usually run that. Every now and then I'll run the Flashbang Grenade as well, just to blind some enemies. It just depends on the activity that you're playing. For the aspects, big one is Tempest Strike. I love using the Tempest Strike, even my last Hunter build, and pretty much anytime I'm running an Arc Hunter in general now, like I just love using the Tempest Strike. And then we got Flow State, so every time we defeat a jolted target, it'll make you amplified, and on top of that, when you're amplified, your dodge recharges more quickly, which will help with the whole light shift of Mask of Bakris. You're more resilient while dodging, but I mean, you're gonna be resilient anyways because you basically shift away. And then your reload speed is greatly increased, which is also a nice plus, of course. Coming down to our fragments, we got Spark of Ions, so defeating a jolted target or defeating a target with Bolt Charge creates an Ionic Trace. So Ionic Traces are great because you're going to be getting your ability energy back just for more ability spam, which is just awesome. We got Spark of Discharge. Arc weapon final blows have a chance to create an Ionic Trace, and on top of that, collecting an Ionic Trace grants you a stack of Bolt Charge. Then we got Spark Frequency. Melee hits increase your equipped weapon's reload speed and stability for a short duration, which is cool, but the main reason why we want this is for the second part. While amplified, the effects are increased and you gain increased stacks of Bolt Charge from all sources. And then of course we got the usual Spark of Resistance. While surrounded by combatants, you are more resistant to incoming damage. For the artifact mods, we're going to be leaning a little bit more into the stasis, just because we still will be using stasis, so anytime we get like frost armor and things like that, that'll still help out the build. So we got one with frost, so that whenever we have frost armor, our stasis weapons gain increased reload speed and stability. And every now and then I like to switch to a stasis sword, so that'll also gain increased guard resistance, which is nice. We got Fever and Chill, so that we can get frost armor every time we do rapid precision hits with stasis weapons, so you'll get that whenever you use the Grav Spike in the stasis form. We have Frost Renewal, so that when we have frost armor, anytime we take critical damage, we'll release a huge freezing burst, which is very helpful, especially for survivability. We have Shield Crush, so we'll be pretty much always having frost armor and always having amplified, so we'll get the melee extra damage and it'll recharge faster because of frost armor, and then our grenade will actually recharge faster and deal more damage because we'll be amplified as well, so this is definitely helpful. And then last but not least, we got Frigid Glare. So when we have frost armor, our stasis precision final blows will cause combatants to release a freezing burst, so that's just even more stasis going on in the battlefield. It's pretty cool when that happens. That about wraps it up for the build video. I hope you guys enjoyed and try it out for yourselves. Like I said, this build is a lot of fun. Again, sorry there hasn't been a build video in a while. I'm gonna try to crank these out a little bit more often. I have some other ones in the works still, and I'm really looking forward to dropping some more. But let me know how you guys are feeling about this build and about how you guys are feeling about Edge of Fate in general. And there will definitely be some more coming soon. Thank you again for watching, and have a good day.